Well, hello and welcome to PM Express. And this morning, well, news broke. Joy FM chanced on a report or chanced on a contract between Ghana and the USA. Now it's all about the USA bringing troops to Ghana, and it's not necessarily a base, but settling them somewhere so they can deploy troops to the Sahel region for, terrorist defense or whatever it is. The troops were coming in. The minority in the House don't seem to know anything about it. They think this deal was sneaked in. When the president recently visited America, maybe did a deal with the Americans and brought the deal in. It is indeed that, during the times of President Kufuor, the Americans tried to come in and set up a base, but somehow it was denied. This time, it looks as if it is coming home. There are aspects of the contract which just doesn't seem to augur well for the average Ghanaians. There is the Annex A, where nobody knows where the Annex A is. They're going to use runways that are fit for purpose, and other areas, nobody knows what the other areas are. They are also going to be granted diplomatic immunity while they are here. They are allowed to carry guns, and they are not literally liable if they cause any damage, danger, or death. Indeed, that's for both parties. Whether a Ghanaian kills one of the Americans or one of the Americans kill a Ghanaian, it does not go to court. I mean, some of these, you look at it and one will say it's quite sacrilegious. It's just literally, well, I am the bigger boy, I am the richer guy, and therefore you sign on to it. If the roles were reversed, many people are asking, won't the Ghanaian get the same opportunity to go to America and say, look, this is my voter's ID, accepted. This is my Ghanaian driver's license, accepted. I don't think so. So that's the deal on the table. However, maybe there are other aspects of this contract which you and I are not privy to. But on the face of the pink sheet as we have it now, you and I were not there. And we're going to try and find out what happened when we were not there. My name is Nana Amankwah IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akomoah Dumasa. When I come back, we are talking Ghana-US relations and security matters. Don't go.
What they have brought has nothing to do with the military base. It's in our interest because they do a lot of exercises with us, they do a lot of training with us, and all they seek to do is that there are some facilities that they think that they'll be using. They could have gone to rent these facilities at the airport, but they said, look, as part of the friendship and the agreement that we have, let's rent these facilities, or let's give us these facilities so that we can put our staff inside, and then we'll have control over those facilities. It's as simple as that. There's basically nothing. It's just an agreement to find what's the status of the American soldier who comes here to work with our troops. It's a 20-year-old agreement. It was first signed on the 24th of February 1998. It's a 20-year-old agreement. It's not a new thing that we would say that it's a new agreement. No, it's not a new agreement. It's an old agreement that periodically gets renewed. And so this is the first time that I thought we should bring it to Parliament.
Have American soldiers operating in the country always had immunity and the status of diplomatic officials over the years?
First of all, the American soldiers have not always had immunity, and that's the difficulty they have always had.
So that is something different that's being introduced.
Of course, that one is new. That you have American soldiers coming to work with us, coming to do Operation Obangame, that's for the sea, then Flintoff and other exercises that they do with us. And then we give immunity to the embassy staff. But the soldiers who are working with us, who are sacrificing their lives, who are assisting our soldiers, have some capacity. Those soldiers, we say, will not give them immunity.
This arrangement is nothing different.
For something that is different. We already have a non-surrender agreement already anyway with them. There's nothing that is different. We have signed a non-surrender agreement with the Americans already. If an American commits a crime here, he will be tried in the US. We've done that before, so it's not something that is different. Americans today are currently engaging in fighting terrorists in the Sahel region. It is our duty as West Africa to do that, not Americans. But they are there. They lost over 4 soldiers the last time, if you remember. It's our duty as West Africa or as Africa to fight terrorists. But the American soldiers are busily there fighting. So they are saying that even if it means using the facilities in Ghana to store equipment to be able to go and fight those terrorists, they will do it. It's because of people like Apaak and all those who seek to heighten tension when there's none that will draw anybody's attention to Ghana. In any case, I have said something. America has an embassy in Ghana, don't they? It's the biggest embassy in West Africa, American embassy in Ghana. They have all the facilities that they have. Why has it not attracted terrorists? America has this agreement with 51 countries, including Senegal. Has it attracted terrorists anywhere? Don't let us invite trouble for ourselves by congesting things that are not there. Are you getting me right? Let me give you an example. God forbid if there's a terrorist attack today at Kotoka International Airport and we have a few American Marines around. You think they're going to sit there and fold their hands? You think that if America has some facility at the Kotoka International Airport, you think they will not also help to fortify security around Kotoka International Airport? There are benefits to both nations in this type of things, facilities that are being used. Let us not fold our hands. Today we are in a world where terrorism reigns. We don't have a world where nations are fighting one another. We have a world where there is terrorism. We have a world where we have insurgency. You need partners to be able to assist you. For us in Ghana, anybody who will partner us to make sure that our armed forces are strong, we will allow that person to partner us.
So that will set the premise for today's discussion. And with me in studio, sat right next to me, is Collins Amankwah, who is Vice Chairman for the Defence Committee in Parliament and also Honourable Member of Parliament for Menchia North. First time on the show, so Ambantamsa. You're welcome, Collins.
Thank you, Nana.
And then our own Adam Bona, Security Analyst and CEO of Security Warehouse. He's PM Express in-house security consultant. Joining us later on the phone will be Dr. Vladimir Nchidansu, who's also a security expert. But let me start with you, Adam Bona. Are we, saying, panicking when there's no cause for alarm?
Well, I think, yes, that is it. Looks like we are panicking when we shouldn't really be panicking. I think we should rather be asking ourselves a lot of questions. I'm wondering how a security document of this sort got leaked, into the public domain. And so if you ask me, I would say it tells us how porous probably our some of our state institutions are. And so for me, I think we are panicking too much. We don't really have to panic. We should rather ask questions and not begin to press the panic buttons. Yeah.
Diplomatic immunity being given to U.S. military personnel. Are you concerned about that?
Well, yes, I am concerned, but I think just like I think I did hear the minister say some time ago when the American government floated this idea of this non-surrender treaty and Ghana somehow signed to it, I felt very offended. And so whether this agreement it is signed or not, there is a treaty, an existing treaty that says that when they find themselves in a territory like ours and something happens, you cannot actually try them, on your soil. And so the question I want to ask is why it looks like a repetition. Why is it in this particular agreement? Because it's already there. Before we signed it, I thought we shouldn't have, but somehow, the then leadership signed, which I thought we shouldn't have signed to it, so that if you commit a crime here, you should be punished. And so whether this particular agreement, they take it out or not, if they find themselves here and something happens, I'm wondering if that treaty would not be binding enough to stop us from, punishing them on our soil. So these are some of the questions I think we need to ask. Why did they find, did they have to put it back into this particular treaty? Probably it was needless, unless of course there's something else I'm not aware of. Yeah.
Collins, is there a clear case of, look, they are the big boys, you know, we are the small boys, and therefore, well, yes, I master 3 bags full, whatever it is, just put it down and I'll sign it?
Well, and far from that, I think as a committee, we are mandated to, as it were, examine issues that relates to national defense and security in general. And tomorrow, the Minister for Defense is going to brief the committee. Mind you, a referral has been made by Mr. Speaker that we are to look into the whole agreement. I must say that Parliament has not adopted any document as it stands now. So we should wait. And that is the reason I'm surprised at such hurriedly organized press conference by the minority group in Parliament, making claims which cannot be substantiated. But I think Mr. Adams Bona asked certain questions how the whole document leaked. I must say that after the paper has been laid, you know, at the cabinet it didn't leak. It leaked in Parliament because we are there with our opponents, or I mean minority party, and now we've gotten to know the source, and those who have even gone ahead to post it on their website, including 2 members of Parliament, I mean Sam George and I think Dr. Apaak also. They have, I mean, put it on their wall. So clearly you can trace it, that they leaked to the media, even though we've not yet ratified the whole agreement. Here we are, when you have such difficult opposition, thinking politics is all about opposing everything coming from the government. But I think going forward...
If the roles were reversed, I'm sure you'd have done worse. If John Mahama had dared and this thing had sneaked out, I mean, you guys would have ripped him to shreds.
It's politics, isn't it?
Yeah, it's politics.
So I'm just wondering, from what he's saying, I mean, I got a copy of this document. You know, this dawn, I had to get up early around 5 a.m. on my way to a program. I got a copy sent to me from the U.S. of this document, and this person was pushing me to say something about it, and I said, you see, I cannot confirm or deny. I don't know how you managed to get such a sensitive document. And so probably since it's part of the Defense and Security and Defense Committee in Parliament, we should be asking them a lot of questions, because I believe if it was an ordinary member of any of us who probably have done this, Parliament would have quickly summoned us to appear before them. And so I find it very difficult when sometimes, because these are security issues. On what grounds I mean, I don't want to say, I mean, he's saying they have some culprits already, but I don't want to believe that they should leave it that way. They need to tell Ghanaians how this thing got leaked.
I'll come back to the security issues, because this is just the draft, you know, agreement to say, listen, we need to come to Ghana and we need to operate. The nature of operation can be secret, whether they will move in the night and spy on people, that's secret. But moving to say, look, we'll settle at Aboglushi, we'll live at Dansoman, Kaneshi, that's our base and everything. I mean, that's not, I mean, there's American base in Northwood, we drive past it every day, you know, they are in there. You know, I'm told this is the 2nd biggest American embassy in the world, apart from Russia.
Yes. Yes.
No. That is true. Yeah, that is true.
So, I mean,
No, that is true. It is a reason why when this issue started breaking, I asked a lot of questions. What is wrong with us? Because then, if you know the banter between the Brits and the Russians, the 2023 Russians have been sent back, and 23 Brits have also been sent back. And these are people who are gathering, who are intelligence officers, and so these are people diplomatically both countries are aware of their presence in the country. And so you see, there are so many things probably as ordinary Ghanaians we wouldn't know. If you go to the the American embassy, the edifice is so big. Do we know the kind of people who are in there? We are not asking that question, but it looks like this whole thing has generated.
Let's listen to the minority concern and then we'll continue. This is the minority concern.
I am worried, and although we are yet to see it and to analyze it fully as a minority, those of my colleagues who have seen the leaked document are all worried for a number of reasons. Portions of it clearly give the Americans, if you like, a tax waiver, where be it personnel who are going to be deployed when the base is set up, and or contractors.
The defense minister insists there won't be any base.
Well, we would see. I mean, if you are going to bring in personnel, military personnel, you are going to provide them with the logistics needed. You are going to provide them with the support needed to be able to deploy and take action from here. How else do you describe that if not a base? I mean, maybe he is just trying to play clever and smart with the fact that the document does not make a specific reference to a base. But if you look at the content in its totality, it is very clear that a base is going to be established. The impact on us as a people is multifaceted and is very dire. And that is why I feel sad, because it's not just about the fact that they won't pay taxes and companies coming to supply or serve them will not pay taxes, but it is also the fact that the personnel of American army who are going to be part of this would essentially have the rights of diplomats. What that means is that they can do any and everything against our citizens and get away with it. And it says further that when there is a dispute, that dispute will be resolved on the basis of American law. So where is our sovereignty?
The defense minister.
If you look at that document and you scrutinize it word by word, page by page, section by section, it is clear that we must tread cautiously. This bargain is going to shortchange Ghanaians. And I believe that if Ghanaians thought that bringing in the Gitmo 2 was going to be a magnet to attract terrorists, then beginning tonight, they should start wailing and crying, because these are the facts on the ground and the evidence is abound across the world.
Okay, let me go straight to Collins and get a response.
Well, Nana, I think my colleague, Dr. Apaak, is ill informed about the whole transaction. And I'm sure tomorrow, after we are done with the detail of briefing that will come from the Minister for Defense, he will be in better position to know what actually transpired. The agreement is between the government of the Republic of Ghana and the government of the United States of America on defense cooperation. The emphasis is on defense cooperation. And also the status of American forces. Mind you, they're already in Ghana and even Africa at large. And access to, and also the use of agreed facilities and areas in the Republic of Ghana. This is the object of the whole agreement. They are not here to establish any force base as is being peddled by Dr. Apaak and his cohorts.
Because you see, what is the base? If
200
soldiers come and they live in Kokomlemle, it's their base. That's where they live. I mean,
no.
Your base is where you're based.
No. You're getting it wrong. The point is, they already have the facilities here. As we speak now, we have an American Air Force plane landed on our soil. When you go to Kotoka International Airport, you will see American aircraft there. This is not news. It's NBC that is beating the drum as if something strange is happening. There's nothing new under the sun.
So then why do we need all this?
This agreement is not being shrouded with secrecy. This is an open, very transparent agreement. Unlike what they did when they were in government, when they brought in two Gitmo's detainees without the knowledge of Parliament, without parliamentary approval. Ours is different. We are very transparent as government.
Collins, I just find it, if you put it as if they are here, it's a regular thing, it's nothing new, then one will ask, why all these articles and 19 of them? But before you answer that, let me go to the phone and speak to Dr. Vladimir Enchidanso. Hello, Doc.
Hello, Nana.
Thank you very much for joining us, and we are looking at these 19 articles. Let me just get your general view on it. Are you in the school of thought that are panicking, or are you in the school of thought that say, look, this is business as usual?
Well, I'm not in any group. I'm not panicking. I look at it from the point of view of what the international system looks like and what our security system also looks like and what we get from it and why X and why Y. And my take on this is this, let me shoot ahead straight and say, Nana, I'm not particularly happy about the bipartisan approach, the partisan approach to this. I think we need a bipartisan approach and look at our security needs. Actually, today, if you ask government for our security architecture, our defense policy, from which we have a national security agenda, we don't have it yet. And so we don't need to cede any part of our sovereignty to any to help any security architecture of any country. There is nothing wrong with having a pact, a defense pact. It's written all over the world. But those of us who are a little worried, and you know, I've written a lot of articles about AFRICOM and the way they were looking for headquarters in Africa, which was virtually rejected by Africa. The countries that they want, particularly are Ghana, South Africa, and Nigeria. And so gradually they are worming their way through, beginning from 1998, when AFRICOM had not been even established. They were looking for spaces where they could use for rapid deployment and things like that, because they thought they had won the Cold War. And we need to be very careful about this. Basically, my worry is that today's world is a world of chaos. There are several global hiccups, and you become a target depending on that type of cooperation. And American cooperation with other countries are hiccuping very badly. In Manila, in Japan, in Turkey, and we need to have thought about all these things before we put in those clauses that exonerates them when even they are wrong. These are the things that Parliament should ever sit down and say, fine, the defense pact is a defense pact. $20 million of assistance and that kind of thing, there's nothing wrong about that. But those things that cede our sovereignty to the U.S., during the Nigerian, when Boko Haram was at its height, they didn't know what to do. Nigeria blasted them. They could have the 2 aircraft that we have permanently stationed here, which was doing reconnaissance and things like that, could have been in Nigeria. But why did Nigerians not accept? Because most of the things that they were doing was from Ghana. Fine. If we are a good country and they want to have that thing over here, why are the clauses making it possible for the Americans to ride roughshod on our sovereignty? In those clauses, if Parliament in a bipartisan approach say, let's remove this, let's add this, and then we know that at any point in time, with 2 sovereign countries, mutually acceptable kind of development, that is my worry, basic worry. Come to think of a clause that talks about the use of contractors. And in military terms, when we talk of contractors, we are looking at the kind of American contracts that are always given to people or nations who can help them in any of the things they do. These people are not totally acceptable people anywhere in the world. And they can just do anything they want. They did it in Iraq. They've done it in Mali before. And these are some of the things. Those contractors are non-governmental, one way or the other. They are contracted. And you say they can just come in with just ID cards, in and out. Look, the point is, what about if an ISIS man also dresses like an American and enters? What about if they target Ghana, not necessarily because they are targeting Ghana, but they are targeting American installations just because they hate America? The Burkina Faso issues and the Ivorian issues and the Malian issues came not because those people hate these countries. but they are targeting their enemies, which is legitimate where war is concerned. Your enemy's base, whether it is in heaven or whatever it is, and if you want to attack it, you attack it. So my take on this is that Parliament should, and I heard one of your panelists talking about the transparency. Very good. We need to applaud this government there. But let now Parliament sit down and say, look, for A, we don't like it. B, we don't like it. C, we don't like it. Rewrite the agreement. This is a prototype agreement we know Americans write. What are our inputs?
Doc, I want you to stay there. I'm going to take a quick break and come back because it's getting quite interesting to see how it is that we can get an acceptable agreement between those countries. Don't go away, coming. Well, thank you very much for staying, and we are looking at Ghana-US relationship with regards to base troops that will be settled here, even though the US Embassy has released a statement categorically saying they are not going to set up a base in Ghana. I have Dr. Vladimir on the phone. I have Collins Amankwah in studio and Adam Bona in studio. And I'll go to Adam. Adam, some of the concerns that Dr. Vladimir raised were very salient. It's like you're relinquishing a certain part of your sovereignty, for what?
Well, I think the issues he raised has to do with the immunity, clause in what do you call it, where I think the other aspect that I would side with him has to do with the contractors. Because if you look at some of the contractors who have worked in terms of aiding, U.S. military in terms of performing their duty, some of them have acted in a way that probably has brought a lot of discomfort for the U.S. Government. I mean, in Iraq, you can name them, in few other countries. And so I would be asking that, just like, my colleague said, we should be looking at a situation where Parliament should rather be looking at the clause by clause. What can we do in terms of, so that we are able to separate the U.S. military itself probably from, what do you call it, those who are going to be supporting them. I mean, because you want to say these are security contractors, and some of these contractors call them, they are not, when you say contractors, probably in this country, people would be thinking builders. No, when they say contractors in terms of security, you could be people who are armed. I mean, they are armed and they perform similar duties as, what do you call it, the U.S., the trained U.S. military themselves. And therefore, when you hear contractors, let's not deceive ourselves or delude ourselves and say, oh, these guys are people who are going to be building roads, or who are, they are people who sometimes they substitute the U.S. military with those people, and they sometimes perform the same functions. But coming back to whether it's a base or it's not a base, I think we need to understand that aspect. When you, in terms of, security presence, or especially when you have to deal with most of the superpowers like the U.S., Britain, and the rest, when you say a base is something that is so big, but in this sense, if you
say they can have a small base?
No. I mean, they have them in categories.
Yeah, so maybe,
no, what I'm trying to say is that they have them in categories. And in our case, from what my own checks, it is the last category, which has to do with the cooperative, security, location, where they actually don't usually have a permanent presence. But what they do is that they use it as a transit point. Because if you look at, looking at the document that is that is out there, it says import and export. And if you look within this country, we already have a similar thing that is going on between ourselves and our neighboring countries who don't have seaports. And so things arrive, things that are going to Burkina Faso are imported into this country and re-exported out of this country.
Let me bring Collins in here and go back to Doc. Some of the questions, some of the concerns that Doctor raised, are they concerns that the majority share?
Well, to some extent, and I think he emphasized on the fact that we need to be more bipartisan in terms of a quest to, as it were, examine these matters. And I think with him on that score, when it comes to matters that relates to security, we need to depoliticize it. And there are certain things I cannot review whilst I sit here. And I'm sure the U.S. Embassy has also come out to state, or they have issued a statement in response to all these queries, that U.S. government is not in any way planning to establish Air Force base in this country. And I think we should take it. Unless we want to go by the, lifeless claims by the minority that the government of U.S. is to establish Air Force base in this country. No, that is not the case. Nana?
A military base, not
a military base.
Military base. Military base is, we are talking about, you are bringing in aircraft carriers, you are bringing it, jet fighters, you are bringing it, and usually I think we seem to have just one military base in Africa by the military. In Djibouti, just one.
I'm coming. Honestly, you and I know that Africa is challenged with a lot of, security threats, which includes issue of cross-border crime, violent extremism, terrorist financing, piracy, human trafficking. These are some of the challenges we are going through. And no country is immune to this stress. Of course, Ghana cannot say that we are living in isolated world. Security is a shared responsibility. Now, the whole agreement is on defense cooperation. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. We have benefited immensely from U.S. government. Unless we don't want to, tell the truth. And I think I have a letter that I want to read for the purposes of discussion in this studio. It's dated from U.S. Embassy to, the president of this country. Yeah. It's dated March 9th, 2018. Dear Mr. President, it was an honor to be present at Ghana's 61st anniversary of independence on March 6, which showcased Ghana's armed forces, security services, schools, and civil society groups. Following our February 22nd meeting, I would like to take this opportunity to emphasize the U.S. commitment to our strong bilateral relations and to highlight some of the U.S. security cooperation / assistance contribution provided or to be provided to Ghana in the next few years. In addition to $498 million US, that is 5-year Millennium Challenge Cooperation Energy Compact and health, education, economic growth, agriculture, and governance programs valued at $137 million in 2018. The United States is currently executing approximately $30 million US in various security cooperation assistance programs. The following are examples of some of the largest security assistance programs. Listen. 1. African Peacekeeping Rapid Response Partnership, that is APPRP. A colossal amount of $20 million US has been voted by US government. We also have humanitarian assistance program. 4.78 million designed to improve visibility, access and influence as well as promote regional stability with foreign military and civilian counterparts. Talking about foreign military financing, that is 2.3 million. This grant is helping to repair Ghana Navy Defender class boats in support of maritime security and evaluating options for, you can, go in and go and go. These are some of the supports we are enjoying from U.S. government as a country. Here we are, people are talking about this import waiver as if we have suffered under this particular agreement. That is not the case. We must be honest that managing security is something that cannot be little in terms of trying to, as it were, belabor the point that after all, what is security? No. We are talking about national defense in the first place, of which elsewhere we vote, a lot of money in order to enhance public safety, in order to enhance, security service delivery. Here we are, because of politics. We want to rubbish the whole agreement as if Ghana's government is going to bequeath to them, a new land to put up new structures. No. That is not what we are talking.
Let me bring, I'll come back to you. Doc, if you listen to the letter, there's quite a lot of things that they're giving us. They, supporting the Navy, supporting, increasing visibility. So it comes with a lot of things. You still stick to your, former position?
Well, the point is that I don't have any formal position. I'm analyzing it from the point of view of our national security, period. That letter is very important. It tells you what they're doing. And if you want to analyze it, you will realize that we just wanting enticing our president to something more, period. This is what we've been doing for, we can do more. Every country does that. The Russians will come and they enticed us, and we got some very good helicopters from them. They are serving us in the UN system. The Chinese came, and we were so enthused, and we went there and bought some boats. If you really know the story of the boats, now everybody says the boats are toy boats and what. Every ambassador would entice you. This is what I have. This is what I can do for you. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what is our national security needs architecture, and for which reason we need a base. Now the government has entered into a bilateral agreement with the Americans. I have no doubt in my mind that they don't want the base. They want it. They need it. The Americans want it. But Ghana has told them in the past that we won't give you a military base. So all they're doing is to get some kind of small enclave, and we have given it to them already in 2015, from where they operate. And we can't even go there. We don't control it. We don't know what is there. I'm not worried about that. But going further, to give them all that we are giving them in the document that I've seen, that is where my worry is. In Niger, something happened. Even Americans didn't know that American soldiers were operating there when they died. And that is when the whole thing was raised in the Senate and whatnot and whatnot. These are some of the things we are talking about. That you give them the 1 inch, and because of that, the interpretation of it means that at any time they want to do something in their interest, in their national security interest, your interest comes second. In Pakistan, where they have had long-standing military cooperation, very long-standing military cooperation, before and during the Cold War and that kind of thing, they still went to Abbottabad without even informing the Pakistanis that we are coming. What if anything happened? What if the operation that killed Osama bin Laden created any insecurity for Pakistan? Pakistan, delivered the effort by complaining, and what did you have? So these are some of the things some of us are saying. Look at the clusters and put in those clusters that immune Ghana from such. We have a history to learn from. So I'm saying let Parliament sit down. It is Ghana's national security that is more important. I don't think some of the clauses, bodes well for Ghana. Look at them and remove them. Tell the Americans, if you do it this way, then we are with you. If you wouldn't do it, then take our national security into consideration. That's all some of us are asking for. As for bilateral pacts, we will continue to sign them all the time for our security, the transnational concerns that my brother is raising. Very important. But they are all there, and we have been cooperating with them. There is this quota, there is the Pan-Sahel agreement. We have several agreements in which Ghana is participating. That time, we didn't have anything for them like a base or that kind of thing. So if this time they want something that will enhance all that they are giving us, let us make sure that what they are giving us inures to the benefit of our security. That's what we are all asking. Some of us are asking for.
I'm going to take another quick break, and then when I come back, I think on the closing segment, we'll look at terrorism attack. I mean, Americans, anywhere they go, they get attacked. If we give them this base, settlement, hotel, whatever it is that is going to be called, are we, liable for an attack? We're coming back. Well, thank you very much for staying. And let me come to you, Collins. Actually, no, let me quickly. Doc, have I got you on the phone?
Yes, I'm still here.
Doc, I have very hard, but 30 seconds. What are the chances of these base troop? I don't know how to say, I don't know what it's going to be, but are they likely to be attacked by some terrorists?
Are they likely to do, excuse me, what?
Do you open yourself to attack by terrorists?
Oh, surely. Even if they didn't have a base here or we didn't have this agreement with them, wherever they perceive the Americans, French or any other of the European countries as the enemy, they would pursue them. As I've already indicated several times on your program.
Thank you.
The terrorists will never attack us because they are attacking us. They are attacking enemy bases, rather.
Very good. Let me thank you very much, Doc. Adam, another 30 seconds for you. It's a danger to get this thing going. Do you think these Al Qaeda people say, well, that's it, let's go and bomb the Americans, and we hear they chill at XYZ hotel, so let's bomb the hotel?
Well, it is for Al Qaeda, Islamic Maghreb, and call
ISIS,
them Boko Haram. For them, they always have that perceived enemy, and therefore, once that enemy probably is close by, they will try to take advantage of the situation to this.
Let me give a final word to Collins. Collins,
yes,
all these being put into consideration while we if as you always say, look, they are already here, why don't we just keep mute
well,
and let them
before
be?
I comment on this one, let me assure good people of this country that as transparent as we are, tomorrow we're going to work on the draft bill to, as it were, if we identify any defects, it must be expunged from the proposed or the draft agreement. So they should be rest assured. We're going to work on that. They should trust us, devoid of partisan approach. Notwithstanding, Ghana is safe under the watch of, Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Thank you very much. That's what time would allow us. 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. That's Tanti's Fashion. They give me the shirts for the show, so give them a call and order yourself a shirt. But it's been an interesting discussion. Tomorrow, the bill will be discussed, and I'm sure it's just the beginning. Thank you for watching. We're back to do this all over again.